Hi YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. Let's discuss when bad people get good jobs. Bad people getting into good jobs, or bad people getting into good companies. So this is something that's easily relatable, whether you have experienced being mistreated at a job, and again, empaths, chosen ones specifically is what I speak to for the most part. Whether you are aware that you're an empath or chosen one yet, or you haven't come to the conclusion or full understanding or even belief that you're a chosen one or an empath, if you're watching this video and or you are continually watching videos about chosen ones and empaths, if you haven't realized that you are one, and at some point you will very much discover that you are in fact an empath or a chosen one. And it goes beyond just having as we say, empathy for someone. It has a lot more dynamics to it than that. You're able to sense someone else's emotions and feelings. You're able to, you actually take on these emotions, you take them upon yourself. We're not just talking about surface stuff. We're talking about, unbeknownst to the person you're absorbing, you're absorbing their energy, whereas it pertains to the emotion of empathy. And empathy is somewhat of an emotion, but it goes deeper than that. As I just pointed out, you have a lot of depth. It's raw depth. It is going into a room and being able to read that room and read most, if not all, of the emotions that are going on within that room. You can read dark energy, and the more you become attuned to yourself as an empath, chosen one, light worker, whatever have you, you will be able to readily not only understand that you are this, you'll be able to understand and relate to the fact that these are the things that you're experiencing, and you won't feel put off. You won't feel disjointed from yourself. You'll be very connected to yourself. You will then and you would then realize that, man, this is something that I didn't adopt in and of myself. This is just something that is innate to who I am. And you will truly understand that you've been this way all your life. And so that being said, empaths and chosen ones, you have probably experienced this more than likely. A good job with bad people. And when I say bad people, dark people, conniving people, two-timing people, cutthroat, backstabbing, slanderous, gossipers, people who can't stay in their own lane, can't mind their own damn business. There'll always be a table in the break room, or two or three, where people congregate. Whether you're the new guy, new girl on deck, or you've been there for a while, you can look back at your jobs or job, even the one you hold right now, and you can identify with one of these specific tables or groups or two or three that are constantly, consistently talking about anything and everything other than something that is proactive, progressive. It's always disparaging, demeaning, discrediting, and just blatantly smearing any and everyone they can. And you may not realize this, but a lot of it will be nonchalant. It will be something like, well, I helped so and so or Susan do the XYZ because she was having a hard time with it, but I just told her, hey, you have to do it this way or do it that way. She doesn't seem like she's really uh, fit for this job. So you see what just happened? They first of all they give their contributions out the gate. Oh, I did this when no one really asked them for their help. They go ahead of you and stick their neck out for you just to chop your head off. That makes sense. They stick their neck out for you just to end up chopping your head off. And this is how narcissists move. This is how low vibrating, dark energy people move. And I want to emphasize something else to you guys. There is very much a reality that a lot of us who are empaths and chosen ones in our codependency, even as I speak, we have formed and molded our lifestyle, be it in the workplace, around some of these kind of shenanigans. And what we have allowed to be done to us is the massaging of our personality, the massaging of our passivity, the massaging of our nodding, going along to get along. We have, in essence, approved of these type of tables and these type of groupings. We may not give any input, but we are partakers of this. We sit amongst these groups. And I know some of you are saying, you know, hey, what they're saying and what they're doing ain't got nothing to do with me. Well, I would beg to differ. It has everything to do with you. You know why? Because these type of individuals need an audience. And if you're not doing anything but being the audience, being in attendance, and you may say, well, you know what? I'm just eating my food. I don't care about what they got going on. I will give you a suggestion right now. When you go back to your job, I need for you to purposely, decisively, determine not to congregate with that particular group. If you now know that these things are happening, and I'm going to ask you to do this, and I'm going to tell you why I'm asking you to do this, because what's going to happen is a shift. Better to do it now than wait until later, because I'm going to tell you, unbeknownst to you, you are a part of the problem that is going on in that job. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person because they are bad, but you are a partaker of that. You have to begin to write your line in the sand. You have to begin to not so much purposely make these people take notice that you're not playing in any reindeer games anymore, but whatever way you have to do it, not to raise any feathers or ruffle any feathers, you must find a way to do that. But I'm going to tell you something else. When and if you decide to do this, once you do this, you will be ostracized. You will be a part of that. You will be labeled into that group of bad people. Because a lot of us who are realizing now, you hear it all across social media with a lot of us chosen ones. We have arrived at a point in our life where we realize that we're not cut out for the 9 to 5 in the grand scheme of things. The 9 to 5 in which has been modeled to us throughout the ages. It's not to say that we're not cut out for working. We're not cut out for the traditional 9 to 5. Working from paycheck to paycheck. And not that that's a bad thing in and of itself. A lot of people, empaths here, chosen ones, they have a decent job in which they love what they do. And not all empaths will be met with this aggression. Not all empaths will be met with this obvious and blatant disregard and disrespect and ostracized and disparaging and disrespect and disgusting smearing. But it always happens. It is always happening. It's just a matter of time. And if it hasn't happened at your workplace yet, it's just it is just something that you have not taken note of, because these people are very, very covert with what they do. And again, the reason why you might not have been met with any of this, because like I say, If you go along to get along and you feel like you've managed to navigate around this stuff, well, God bless you for that. Sorry, guys. The gimbal is, I don't know why it does this. I just don't know what's going on with this thing. But anyway, we'll go that way. Anyway, you haven't been met with that, and that's fine. I am happy to know that you haven't. But this is just a heads up for you, because as the times are getting more and more intense, with the world being so obsessed with being liked, having approval of other people, the narcissists are really, really gaining ground by way of social media, and this rat race of measuring your worth by what you have and the possessions that you have. No jobs are stable anymore. So when we're talking about no job security, this is rooted in the bad people in the good jobs. Because take, for example, the job that I worked, it was a union job, and the job in and of itself was somewhat strenuous, but it was so repetitive. Once you began to learn the job, it was just a lot of repetitive work, and so you knew what you were going to be confronted with in any given day. And there were some shifts in where they would rotate you, and you would be doing this particular job one day and this particular job another day. But all in all, you kind of had an idea of what you would be doing. Nothing would really come out of nowhere. That wouldn't be a surprise to you. But do you know what made the job so intensely dark? Because it was a very, very overwhelming amount of narcissists that existed there. And again, this is a job that paid very well. You earned your money. You really worked for it. But the benefits of the job in which the company had for their employees were yet another incentive for that job. Dental, medical, you got bonuses and whatnot. And so, plus the contracts were 4 or 5 years out. We talking, I don't know the number specifically. We talking multi-million-dollar contracts. They had people who were already waiting in line to buy the metal in years in advance, because they were one of 4 companies, I believe, one of 4 or 3 companies in the world that do what the company that I got fired does. They melt metal for the aerospace. Goes into all the airplanes, and you sign actually a disclosure not to be able to speak so much about what you do in the job. And at this juncture, I'm just giving you generalizations, because there's no top secrets in the job, but at the same time, when you're employed there, they would rather you not speak about it. And so the bad people became very pervasive, and it is this way in the medical field too. And I always dote on the medical field. You have nurses, you have just staff in general. Now, if you're in the waiting room, you hear all of the gossip, the chitter chatter, and the disclosure of patients' information, or not information. I won't go as far as say information. And in many cases, I know a lot of that is being rattled off of the tongue. There's no ethics anymore, for the most part, within the medical industry. And this is not all people in the medical industry. A vast majority of them in this day and time. There's very much so some people in there that have high ethics. They hold the HIPAA law in high regard. You know why? Because they don't have no interest in talking about the patient's personal business, one way or the other. This is derived from people who they have a lack of a life for themselves. They use these jobs to become significant, to matter. They use their positions They use the fact that they can come in with a name tag on and it says CNA, LP, well, not so much, maybe LPN too, but it's more the CNAs. And even some of the higher ups, they're narcissists. But there's it seems to be a more of an ethical obligation with the higher ups. But when these bad people come in, these good jobs, they taint the whole atmosphere. If she's working or he's working at a gas station, you'll walk in the gas station, you'll hear this guy rapping vulgar rap songs out loud. It's not enough he's listening to it with his earbuds in. He's rapping all the vulgarity out in the air. Yet while patrons are going in and out of the store, buying and purchasing stuff. No filter, no regard, no respect, no, just no ethics at all. And then to the point where these individuals get terminated from these jobs. They raise all kind of hell. Talking about they fired them for no reason whatsoever. They're always passing the buck. And some of these bad people that get these good jobs, they'll get let go from one job. Next time you look around, they're at even a better position in a job. They're in a better company. And you're wondering, wow, what kind of tricks are they pulling to get into these places? It's not tricks. It's not tricks. Birds of a feather flock together. Narcs of the same mindset flock together. And this is a lineage. This is an unspoken clique. So this video really serves to really just re-inform and to just to kind of put empaths and chosen ones up on their P's and Q's to just disengage with these groupings, disengage with these type of followings. Because what happens is we give these bad people in these good companies leverage, we give them power, we give them our endorsement in a way, in a sense, to say what you're doing is A-OK. Can you imagine if all of the better people or the healthier people that stood for things in these good companies stood up and stood against just the shenanigans, and we're talking about the overt stuff. We're not talking about just a here or there type of infraction. We're talking about the people that you know damn well walk in there day in and day out. They take the air out of the atmosphere. And no one says anything. Even the higher ups have been so bamboozled by the individuals that are bad for the company, because what they do, they insulate themselves and they get close to the man in command or the woman in command. They kiss ass right out of the gate. They're very passive a lot of time. They're passive aggressive. They'll be passive coming in, but they're observing every weak link in that company. And then no time at all, you'll see this person that just started, they're walking around with the supervisor and they good on nodding their head. And this is what, if you have dark energy that's in high positions, it's a done deal. But even some of the codependents that are not narcissists, they love yes mans. And so what the narcissist does, he nods his head, he pretends like he's attuned to what's going on. But what he's doing is he's actually trying to attain a position right alongside the higher up. And once they attain that position, then they can hoard and they can wield their power and influence over you, their control over you. And you'll be sitting around saying to yourself, man, this guy's doing too much. He's coming over here, every little thing, nitpicking at me and nitpicking me at that. What they're doing is trying to drive you out of your comfort zone. You may be doing and performing well in the job, but they come to annoy. They come to steal, kill, and destroy your peace. And I guess what I'm saying, all in all, you know how that story ends. They inevitably, in some way, shape, or form, either annoy you to where you got to go to the higher up boss, and you become frustrated. And when you go in there all jacked up and discombobulated with emotions because you've gotten fed up with it, you look like the fool. You look like the one that is unhinged. And believe it or not, the narcissist has already wound you up, and he's already assassinated your character prematurely. He's already went ahead of you, and he's set the tone for what he knows you're gonna end up doing. He's told the higher up boss that, you know, this guy's got attitude. But what you don't understand, he's gaslighting you. He's gaslighting you progressively out of the sight of the higher up. Before you know it, you're on the work floor getting irate. They running cameras back looking at your behavior, or you pointing your finger even though you're at a safe distance. You're not in his face, but you're pointing your finger because I'm sick of you treating me like this and talking to me like this. They don't hear audio. They don't care about that. All they see is the way that you're moving gives them clear indicators that you're upset and that you're behaving badly. And guarantee you, the narcissist is calm, cool, and collected because he's on stage. He's playing his part, but you're playing your part. So this is kind of what I'm trying to say. Bad people that get in good jobs, this is how they move. This is some of the things that they will do. And looking back at some of these jobs that you have had, you can see that before you actually got terminated or you left that job, you quit or put your resignation in, these individuals, specific individuals, were winding you up. They were setting you up for your demise. And what we often did or do in many cases, we fall for it. But being awakened now, as I said, when you go to these jobs, disengage, stop congregating in these groups where you know a lot of this bad energy and this negative talk is being conducted. And even if you have to eat in your car, just start doing less, falling back. Make these people miss you. All you want them to hear is crickets. You don't want to be a part of it. Matter of fact, you don't even want to hear what's going on, because just to hear some of this stuff that's going on, I don't care how ethical you might be, a lot of times we'll find ourselves carrying that nonsense to someone else. And we don't believe it's gossip. So surround yourself with people who are going somewhere, people who are talking about something that's beneficial. You know, so think about some of that stuff, guys. I want you to realize when you work for the 9 to 5, it's only a means to provide for your family. Don't go to your job and your workplace believing that this company has your best interests at hand. Not to say that everybody's out to get you. I'm just saying your intuition must help you understand that your job, as unstable as you might not think it is, most jobs have very strong instability, and they're getting worse and worse and worse. AI is really about to take shape in 2025, and it's going to hit us like out of nowhere. It's going to hit us. They are right now ready to impact society with AI, and this is integrating. When I say robots, it might not be like iRobot, and they do have those in many capacities. They have robots actually assembling cars. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube. But it's going to be very much like a Walmart when you walk in there. It's going to be all self-checkout. In 2025, I believe this is going to take a shape like none of us imagined. If you go to the ATM machine and get your money, that's AI. When you call customer service, I'll give you a perfect example before I close. When you call customer service, most of the time, you're never going to speak to a human being. You can dial that zero all you want. It's not going to go to a person as much as you try. There are some that you can still connect with a human being, but you got to go all kind of hurdles just to get there. So be mindful, guys. The more you depend on you, the less you can depend on others. That being said, bless.